No votes.
Sorry.
I move with Count Corla.
Please.
Okay. This bill, very simple bill, the Protection of Life During Pregnancy Amendment Bill 2017, is an amendment to the Protection of Life During Pregnancy Act of 2013. Now, it's a very simple bill. I'll read out the one sentence that's contained in it. That Section 22 of the Protection of Life During Pregnancy Act is amended by substitution of the following subsection 2. A person found guilty of an offence under this section shall be liable to a fine of not more than €1. And the reason I have that in is because I strongly believe, and I think there's evidence of it widespread, that most people in this country are not aware that a 14-year sentence can and is in the legislation of 2013 and can be applied to a woman or a medical practitioner who assists her in relation to attain an abortion in this country. That legislation also covers accessing the abortion pill, which there's increasing evidence that has been used on a daily basis by women across the state. The evidence we have through the internet usage of it is about 3 women a day accessing the abortion pill. In Northern Ireland recently, where there's similar legislation, only the sentence in Northern Ireland is not 14 years, but is life sentence. That's the maximum sentence you can receive. There have been 3 women charged with accessing the abortion pill. One, a mother of a 14-year-old who found herself pregnant. She accessed the pill for her daughter, and the other 2 were women charged for self-aborting. Now, my amendment basically seeks to do something that I think is very fundamental to justice and equality in this state, and that is to say that women should not be equated to criminals and be subject to the fear of a 14-year sentence because they try to gain control over their own fertility and their own lives. And whatever one's views on abortions in this chamber are, the criminalisation and sentencing of women to this magnitude is totally unconscionable and unacceptable. And I think that even after we get the result from the Citizens' Assembly and the potential of a referendum, whatever that may be, this sentence still remains on the statute books and can be used over and against women for asserting their right to something that they can procure outside of the state but not within the state. So a very simple bill that tries to amend that to €1. Now, one might ask, why, Bríd, are you bothering with a €1 fine at all? And the reason I had to put in a sort of a peppercorn fine was because on 2 different occasions we drafted a bill to totally decriminalise the procurement of abortion and to get rid of the 14-year sentence. And on both occasions parliamentary legal advice came back to say you cannot do this, it's unconstitutional because of the 8th Amendment. So instead we're amending the sentence from 14 years to, as I say, a peppercorn fine of €1. Now, I hope that everybody in this chamber will consider this as a very serious alternative to a draconian piece of legislation which is very, very punitive on women and on women's rights. And we're coming up to International Women's Day, and I think that we could at least make a gesture to take this extremely seriously and to look at alternatives. On Tuesday next, I hope to move the second stage of this bill, should the deputies here allow the first stage to go through. Ultimately, in People Before Profit and in other groups across this chamber, we believe that further delaying a referendum on repealing the 8th is causing a lot of hardship to women. Needless to say, particularly families who suffer fatal fetal abnormality, and people in general who have crisis pregnancies that leave the state every day or procure the abortion pill every day. We need to have that referendum, but even, and I'll repeat this, even if we do have that referendum, a 14-year sentence for procuring an abortion in this state, and women and their medical practitioners may well fall foul of future legislation even after a referendum is held. So the purpose, very simply, is to reduce it to a €1 fine. We'll debate it next Tuesday, hopefully, and as I say, what really triggered urgency about this is the fact that already in Northern Ireland, 80, 90 miles up the road, 3 women have faced the courts because they have used the abortion pill, which is increasingly the choice that women are making, because it is simple, it is safe, and if you attain it early, it's the best way of dealing with a crisis pregnancy. And I very much fear that women in this country have that as a fear factor over them, and medical practitioners have it as a chill factor over them. Reducing it to a €1 fine would be fair, would be decent, would it be humane. So I move.